Welcome to The Savage Truth with Cicely Davis. I am your host, Cicely Davis.
Welcome back, American Savages, to The Savage Truth. You know who I am, Cicely Davis, coming at you on a perfect, brisk and breezy, sunny and cool fall day here in Minnesota. It's 61 degrees and falling. You got me in a bomber jacket, okay, because I got to keep warm. And I got to be honest with you folks, there isn't a whole lot to report other than we are under 30 days to save our republic. Now, before we get into that, I have an ask. Whether you're brand new, and thank you for joining me. I love having you, love doing what I do, love having you here with me so we can connect. And to the ride or dies, to those of you who tune in on a regular basis, your loyalty is greatly appreciated. I could not and would not be able to do this without you. Whether you're new or returning, my ask is always the same, and that is what? To please like, to please share and subscribe and leave a positive review. We need positivity, folks. Positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And yes, like I said, as we get into this episode, we are under 30 days to save our republic. Now, when I do the show, I always look through to see what the top headlines are and what's going on. And nothing really quite jumped out at me. I mean, we had Governor Walz today on Fox News with the Shannon Bream show, and he was talking about basically trying to save himself and his reputation and take another stab at his deplorable performance in the debate last week. Nothing can save that. And to be honest with you, I was a little agitated, a little sore, a little aggravated that he was even given a spot on the show, because at this point, we shouldn't be giving them any time. I mean, his debate performance was his debate performance. We got to see who he is, and we got to learn more about the Democratic nominee running for president. That is the not so bright, the not so strategic, and I could say a whole lot of other not very complimentary adjectives about her, Kamala Harris. So yeah, I was a little annoyed that they even gave him time. He deserves no time. He doesn't deserve a spot to kind of take a second stab at it. And he was no better today on the show, but he got to talk about, Shannon Bream pressed him on his visit to China again, and he kind of basically buffled and messed it up all over again. And then she gave him the opportunity to kind of discuss what the actual law is here in Minnesota with regard to the late-term abortions, which are absolutely legal and on the books here in Minnesota. And he basically just shifted the conversation. So it is what it is. We know what it is here. Okay, I've talked to you about what it's like here under the quote-unquote leadership of Governor Walz, but here in Minnesota. But as we approach the upcoming election, the stakes have never been higher. That's what I say. The stakes have never been higher for American citizens, particularly for the working class and middle class families. Okay, the Republican ticket featuring Donald Trump and J.D. Vance is leading in key swinging states. Do not let the polls tell you otherwise. Okay, it's signaling a potential shift in political power that could return common sense and stability to our nation. That's what we're hoping for. This election is not merely a contest of candidates, but it's a crucial opportunity for Americans to reclaim their values, to prioritize their needs, and restore a sense of law and order that has been sorely lacking, to say the very least. Okay, the lead of the Trump Vance ticket in battleground states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Georgia, it really truly underscores a growing discontent among voters with the current administration. That is the Biden-Harris administration. Let's keep that in mind, folks. Okay, let's keep that in mind that this is the current administration is still belongs to Kamala Harris. Many citizens feel that their concerns are being overlooked, particularly when it comes to economic challenges. Okay, that's the number one issue. Depending on the day and depending on who you talk to, economics is first, and then the border crisis. Some other people will say it's the border crisis first and then economics. The bottom line, it's in the top two of their issues. It's the top concern for Americans across the country. Trump's policies, which prioritize tax cuts and deregulation, resonate deeply. You have to understand that it resonates deeply with working families who have been struggling under the weight of rising costs and stagnant wages. Now, I would like to say that a return to these principles would provide the foundation for economic growth and job creation, which would foster an environment where hard work is actually rewarded. That's what I mean by getting back to common sense, getting back to the American way of life. Economically, the need for common sense policies is paramount. Many, many, many middle-class families are feeling the pinch of inflation and high living costs, making it increasingly difficult to make ends meet. Now, I, for one, your girl works every day. I wake up, I punch a clock, okay? I go to work every single day. I am a Monday through Friday worker, okay? That means me. You're talking to, so when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. You're talking to me. I'm relating to this. I can relate to that sentiment. The Trump Vance ticket promises to focus on revitalizing American industries, promoting energy independence, and eliminating unnecessary regulations that stifle growth. That sounds good to me. Give it to me back, okay? By empowering small businesses and incentivizing job creation, Republicans, right? It's the red people, the people on the red side politically, what they aim to do is provide tangible relief to families across the nation, ensuring that every American has a fair chance to succeed. That's all we're talking about, getting everyone a fair chance to succeed. In addition to economic recovery, the restoration of law and order is a critical issue for voters. People simply just want to feel safe. That's it. They want to be able to go for a walk, right? They want to be able to, run into the grocery store or go to the corner store and have their car there when they get back, right? They want to keep their catalytic converters, right? They don't want to be raped and pillaged when they go out into the streets, when they go shopping downtown. They want to actually look forward to riding the trail or standing at the bus stop, okay? In recent years, we've seen a troubling rise in crime rates, leading to heightened concerns about personal safety and community well-being. And now we definitely have known that since the summer of 2020. The Republican platform emphasizes the importance of supporting law enforcement and ensuring that they have the resources needed to protect citizens. Everyone has the right to feel safe and be safe, provided law enforcement is able and supported to actually do their job, and the bad guys are locked up and prosecuted appropriately. Now, by taking a firm stance on crime, the Trump Vance ticket seeks to reassure families that their safety is a priority and that the rule of law will be upheld. Furthermore, there is a pressing need to realign government benefits to prioritize Americans first. To prioritize Americans, not illegal immigrants, not those who come here and take for granted and rape and pillage our economy, right? And take from the pockets of hardworking Americans for their benefit, leaving Americans to figure out and worry how they're going to make ends meet and pay bills and pay gas and groceries and the electric bill, or pay the mortgage, or get their kids through school and pay tuition, while the illegals have ready-made funds for all their food and all their groceries and their housing, right? Prioritize Americans first. That's what I mean. For far too long, many citizens feel that their needs have been overshadowed by policies that favor non-citizens or prioritize foreign interests. We're simply sick and tired of that. It is time for that to end. It's been 3.5 years of this cockamaroo, and it's just time for this stuff to end. The Republican agenda, and that's what I'm rooting for today. That's my message. I know I sound like kind of a cheerleader for the Trump Vance ticket in the Republican Party, and make no mistakes, that is exactly what this is really all about, okay? So if you're catching my theme, good, you're picking up what I'm putting down. The Republican agenda seeks to reform welfare programs and immigration policies. Now, for those of you who don't like the sound of that, you have to simply accept that the welfare programs and entitlements will have to be reformed. Otherwise, there won't be any for hardworking Americans in the future. Period. No matter what party you belong to, the entitlements have to be reformed. Okay? That's just a simple fact. You have to accept that. Okay? Welfare programs and immigration policies ensuring that benefits are allocated to those who have contributed to the system. Though if you put the money in, you should be the one to benefit and take the money out. It's just that simple. Things are simple here. It's America. It's a simple, brilliant system. Okay. It's meant to be used and utilized by those who actually paid in. That is there for them in the future for them to take out. It's just that simple. This focus on America First is not only about fairness, but about fostering a sense of national pride and responsibility. So if you really, truly want to be an American, then you get here and you acquiesce to the American way, okay? You assimilate to the American way. The importance of addressing these issues resonates deeply with voters who feel, like me, disconnected from the political elite, right? Many Americans are eager for leaders who will listen to their concerns and implement policies that reflect their values. After all, that is why I ran. I was really, truly interested in connecting and listening to the concerns and implement policies by that of my constituents. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted them to give me the power. I wanted to listen to them, take all their concerns, bag it up, run to DC, and push it for them so that Americans are getting what they want because they're voters, because they pay in, because they work, because they have invested their time, their energy, their treasure into this country, and they deserve to get something out of it, right? It's not a give or it's not take, it's give and take. The Trump Vance ticket embodies this spirit of populism, advocating for the forgotten working class and emphasizing that their voices matter in the political arena. Moreover, the upcoming election represents an opportunity to challenge the status quo. And that's what this is all about. And what I really liked about the debate last week, and by the way, thank you all for the comments on having my husband on the show. Everyone said they liked the chemistry. So I think I'm going to put him on the show on a regular basis. I know that Rick really enjoyed it, but we had a lot of friends calling us and saying they really enjoyed. So by popular demand, I will bring him back. But what I really picked up and took away from that VP debate was that there was something about Vance, right? And then the presence of Donald Trump was the spirit of him was there. But what Donald Trump did was he came in as a complete wrecking ball, right? To the status quo. That's exactly what we needed. We needed to kind of uproot and pull up the weeds and replant seed and get a new Republican Party that actually listens to the people, like I just said, and gives the constituents what they deserve. Many citizens are disillusioned with the current administration's handling of critical issues such as immigration and healthcare and national security. And I will venture out to say that they are dissatisfied with many of the long-running Republicans as well. Okay. The Republican platform, however, offers a fresh perspective, focusing on solutions that promote individual freedoms, economic opportunity, and community strength. Now, who can object to that? Who would object to that? A vote for Trump and Vance is a vote for a return to accountability, self-responsibility, okay? Actually caring about your community and paying in so that you can better yourself, your family, and your community, your neighborhood, and therefore your country, okay? It's a rejection of policies that have failed the American people. The importance of voter turnout in this election cannot be overstated. I'm going to say it. I know everyone else has been saying it. I've heard Charlie Kirk say it and many others, Dan Bongino. Go out and vote, folks. Vote early and bring 10 people with you and tell them to bring 10 more people and on and on and on. Every single Republican vote counts in this election. Engaging with local communities and rallying support among grassroots movements and mobilizing voters to the polls is essential. And these are essential components of a successful campaign. And I think that right now, Donald Trump this time around has a really successful and competent campaign. The Republican Party must focus on energizing its base while also reaching out to undecided voters who are yearning for change. And I think that Vance did a great job at reaching undecided voters. I have a feeling, whether or not the polls actually reflect that he definitely had impact and he influenced them in a positive way in our direction to getting our republic back. He fostered an inclusive and participatory atmosphere. That's what came out of him. That's what I was picking up. This party, the Republican Party, can ensure that its message resonates with a broad audience. The Democrats' mantra of guarding democracy or saving democracy rings increasingly hollow in light of the failures of the Biden administration. Now, while they claim to prioritize the needs of American people, the reality is a troubling landscape of rising inflation, increased crime, and a chaotic border policy that undermines our national security by way, of course, of the actual border czar, Kamala Harris. Now, instead of promising policies that strengthen our democracy, the current administration, which includes Kamala Harris, I'm never going to let you forget that, has often pursued divisive tactics that stifle free speech and dismiss the concerns of everyday Americans. This is not the type of leadership that inspires trust, folks. I don't trust them. I don't trust anything they say. In fact, everything that they say at this point is a lie. And we can't trust the media, right? We saw those two ridiculous hosts in the debate last week. Shame on them. And I want to just go out and say, I don't even want any more debates. No more debates. And if you're going to have a debate, I say we have an even representation of Republican and Democrat hosts. Since they're not actual journalists anyway on the Democrat side, there really are just Democrat activists. I say we get opinion journalists. You know, you get a Ben Shapiro and a Charlie Kirk versus, Rachel Maddow and whatever the Regina King or whoever it is. OK, that's what we need to going forward, because this format that we have right now isn't working. And I think it's really something to be said for the Republican Party to allow our side, our candidates, to go into Democrat media for debates, because what we know is that our candidates are not up just against their opponents, but the two quote unquote journalists as well. This is a total format that needs to be uprooted. We need to get rid of it altogether. This is not the type of leadership, like I said, that inspires trust. Rather, it raises questions about their commitment to the very principles they claim to uphold. Now, here in Minnesota, the situation under tampon Tim Walz, his leadership serves as a glaring example of the consequences of prioritizing an immigrant-first agenda over the needs of American citizens. As resources are diverted to accommodate a rapidly growing population of new arrivals, many long-standing residents find themselves struggling to access essential services such as healthcare and education. Now, I know he's always touting that Minnesota's first or in the top 3 in the country for access to healthcare and this and that, but he's talking about far left access. Our graduation and education rates and graduation rates in this state in public education is atrocious. This imbalance threatens the fabric of our communities and dilutes the opportunities available for working class families. By placing the interests of immigrants above those of the citizens they are meant to serve. Walz and his administration exemplify a troubling trend that neglects the voices of Minnesotans, neglects the voices of me, neglects the voices of a Rick, and on and on and on. The Republican Party, however, stands for a return to common sense governance that prioritizes the needs of all Americans, not just a select few, in spite of what they say, in spite of what they try to report. We must reject the farce of guarding democracy as portrayed by the Democrats and instead advocate for policies that empower our citizens and uphold their rights. The upcoming election is our opportunity to replace ineffective leadership with representatives who genuinely value the principles of accountability and responsibility. So what do we need to do? We need to rally. We need to rally together to demand a government that puts American families first, restores trust in our institutions, and truly protect the democratic ideals that have made this country great. And when I say democratic ideals, I mean republic ideals, okay? I mean American first, I mean Americans, I mean hard work and personal responsibility and accountability and the rule of law. I mean God and faith and service and country. In conclusion, savages, the upcoming election is a pivotal moment for the United States of America right now. And like I said, as we are under 30 days till election, particularly for working class and the middle class families, the lead of the Trump Vance ticket in key swing states reflects the growing desire for common sense policies that prioritize economic growth, law and order, and a commitment to American citizens. And as we head toward November, it is essential, it is imperative, it is direly important for voters to recognize the importance of their participation in shaping the future of our nation. Get out and vote. Now, for those of you who are watching, you're voters. I need you to talk to those who don't vote. I need you to talk to those who are reluctant to vote. I need you to talk to those people who are screaming red wave, because those red wave people are dangerous. You know why? Because when they hear red wave, they figure, if it's going to be a red wave, I don't need to go out and vote. First of all, don't say red wave, okay? Every single red-sided Republican needs to get out and vote for the Trump Vance ticket. The Republican Party stands ready to usher in a new era of prosperity, safety, and fairness, one that honors the American spirit and prioritizes the needs of its citizens. I think prioritize is the word of the day. What do you think, Rick? What's the savage truth of the day? We have but 29 days until the election. That's the savage truth. We have but 29 days until election. I need you to go out and vote and do it early. Bring 10 others with you. Savage truth is every single one of them will count in order to keep this exceptional country free from tyranny and a socialized Marxist society. Now, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And remember, as always, on this chilly but cool, brisk, beautiful day in Minnesota, be bold, be strong, be faithful, be true. Till next time, I'm Cicely.
The Savage Truth with Cicely Davis is a production of Front Page Magazine and the David Horowitz Freedom Center. Reproduction of this podcast without express written consent is prohibited.